confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 794, with 10 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 19 additional cases were reported with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's Monday, November 29th. If you plan to be in the city of LA, be prepared to show proof of full vaccination against COVID-19. The city's Safe Pass LA Ordinance enforcement begins today and requires people visiting indoor venues such as gyms, entertainment facilities, and restaurants to show proof of full vaccination against the coronavirus. The Safe Pass LA Ordinance is one of the strictest mandates of its kind in the nation and includes everyone who is eligible to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Accepted forms of vaccination proof include a vaccination card issued by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, a photocopy of a vaccination card, and a personal digital COVID-19 vaccination record issued by the state of California. People who appear to be over the age of 18 will also be required to show identification with their proof of vaccination. Businesses violating the ordinance will be issued a $1,000 fine for a second violation, a $2,000 fine for a third violation, and a $5,000 fine for a fourth and subsequent violations. Those with approved exemptions will have to show proof of a negative coronavirus test taken within 72 hours. Sunday was expected to be among the busiest days to travel during the holiday season as people returned home from Thanksgiving festivities. At LAX, more than 95,000 travelers passed through the Transportation Security Administration checkpoints throughout the day. That's the highest number the airport has seen since early 2020. Airport officials urged travelers to arrive as early as possible and provided regular updates to parking lot capacities and shared tips on social media. For example, to consider using the lower arrivals level since the upper departures level continues to have the heaviest traffic. Between November 18th and the 30th, an estimated 2 million people will go to and from LAX. Across the U.S. on Saturday, more than 2.2 million people were screened at TSA checkpoints. COVID-19 tests have been available at multiple spots at LAX, across from Terminal 6, inside the Tom Bradley International Terminal, and near the information booths at the arrivals area of Terminal 2's lower level. The new Omicron variant will inevitably make its way to the U.S. That is the assessment from White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci. The new variant was first detected in Botswana last week and spread to multiple countries, including Belgium, Canada, Germany, Hong Kong, and South Africa. Dr. Fauci says the question is, will America be prepared for it? Fauci's comments came one day before the U.S. imposed a travel ban on most travelers from 8 South African countries. He also said the Omicron variant appears to be as or more transmissible than the Delta variant and other strains. The LA County Department of Public Health is continuing to track variant cases in the county. Officials say while the Delta variant remains the dominant variant in the region, they are working with others around the world to prepare to mitigate the challenges a new variant of concern may pose for residents and employees across LA County. A California naval base is being used to help alleviate congestion at LA County ports. The Port of Hueneme has an agreement with Naval Base Ventura County to use a wharf, 2 buildings, and land inside the base. A base spokesperson says the wharf is typically used by the Navy to tie up warships, and the joint use agreement dates back to 2002, but was activated for the first time in more than a decade earlier this month. The goal is to help out with the backlogs at the ports of LA and Long Beach. Ships that carry up to 1,500 containers can be accommodated at the Naval Base port. So far, it has been used to offload multiple 40-foot containers filled with merchandise that is expected to have a direct impact on holiday shopping demands. The Port of Hueneme spokesperson says the Navy has been defending commercial shipping at sea for America and her allies for more than 240 years, and the current engagement with the community to decrease port congestion reflects the spirit of that mission. California prison workers don't have to get vaccinated against the coronavirus yet. A federal appeals court temporarily blocked an order for a vaccination mandate on Friday. The mandate would have taken effect by January 12th, but this move postpones enforcement until sometime in March, when the appeal hearing will be scheduled. The judge who issued the vaccination mandate also required vaccinations or exemptions for inmates who wanted in-person visits or who work outside prisons, including inmate firefighters. Critics say the stay, quote, puts both the prison staff and the incarcerated population at greater risk of infection. The original vaccination order was designed to head off another COVID-19 outbreak, such as the one that killed 28 inmates and a correctional officer at San Quentin State Prison last year. Lots of demand and not enough people willing to work are leading to an interesting holiday season. Businesses are trying to lure both employees and customers at the same time. A number of factors, including the high cost of childcare, more generous government benefits, and lifestyle changes that have made workers less willing to accept the salaries and conditions of their former jobs, are leading to the labor shortage. Although some retail and restaurant employers are increasing wages, it's still not enough to bridge the gap. California has added an average of about 100,000 new jobs each month since February, but is still tied with Nevada for the nation's highest unemployment rate. The state lost 2.7 million jobs in March and April of 2020 after the first statewide stay-at-home order. Since then, California added back about 1.8 million of those jobs, or just about 67%. In September, California had more than 400,000 job openings, a 50% increase compared to 2 years ago before the pandemic. The state's major employers believe California's labor market likely won't reach pre-pandemic levels until the end of 2023. Mail deliverers and shipping companies are bracing themselves for another pandemic crunch. The surge in holiday packages began several weeks ago, and low product inventories as well as port and supply disruptions are creating new uncertainty about getting gifts delivered. The U.S. Postal Service and private shippers such as UPS and FedEx are hiring about 230,000 temporary workers and taking other measures to ensure they don't get overwhelmed by the number of packages they need to process. About 3.4 billion parcels are expected to be sent all over the country this holiday season, representing about a 400 million increase compared to last year. The USPS expects to deliver more than 12 billion items, including cards and letters. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy reported on-time improvements and reduced operating losses this month. He says the service is ready for the crunch. An increase in food prices is hurting food distributors and restaurants in Southern California. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows the Consumer Price Index for food increased 5.3% in October of 2021 compared to the same time the year before. Some foods have increased more than others since last year. The price of meat, fish, and eggs went up 11.9% from October of 2020 to 2021. Non-alcoholic drinks increased by 4.5%, fruits and vegetables by 3%, and the price of dairy by 1.8%. The price hike is leading distributors such as University Foods in LA to feel more stressed out than ever during this pandemic. The business services more than 800 restaurants, schools, and hotels across the LA area and says they can't sell anything if they don't have any product. The price increase is partly the result of some very good news. The world economy and America's in particular rebounded too quickly, catching businesses off guard. They're scrambling to hire back workers laid off from the recession and buy enough products to fill customer orders. Global supply chains broke down, and as costs rose, many businesses passed the burden along to consumers in the form of higher prices. In the meantime, many families receiving government relief checks built up their savings. Economists are divided over how long the inflation spike will last. Some expect to see inflation slow down next year. As this is the first day of Hanukkah, it is only fitting that I welcome to the show Rabbi and Cantor Didi Thomas from Temple Amet, an inclusive Jewish congregation in Torrance. Hello, Rabbi Cantor Didi. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Happy Hanukkah to you. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Yes, of course, I celebrate Hanukkah as well. Although, for those that may not know the ins and outs of this special holiday, break it down for our viewers, how long it lasts and what it represents to the Jewish community.
Well, interestingly enough, Hanukkah is the most widely celebrated holiday, even more so than the High Holy Days, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, and Passover. It's not actually written about in the Torah, it's in the book of Maccabees. And it celebrates both a religious and a spiritual and military victory. And so the temple was destroyed and it was rededicated, fought for by a group of rebels, as they were thought of, Judah Maccabee and his brothers. And they fought and reclaimed the temple. Hanukkah itself actually means dedication, rededication. They rededicated the temple. And there was a little cruse of oil that they found, and that happened to last 8 days, which are the 8 days of Hanukkah. It technically only should have lasted one night, and so that created the miracle of the Festival of Light.
I'd like to think that my mother has a miracle going on in her kitchen all the time during Hanukkah. Of course, with all holidays comes the special food. My mom makes a mean batch of potato latkes. So let's talk about the food aspect of Hanukkah.
Well, because of the oil, there's that connection. And so you want to eat things that are greasy. So it is thought of on Shabbat and holidays, you don't gain any weight. You don't have to worry about what you eat. So you eat potatoes, which are potato pancakes, which are fried then in oil. And you eat sufganiyot, which is my particular favorite, jelly donuts. So anything that's greasy, pretty much, you want to have some French fries, go ahead. I don't know. There are a lot of Parisian Jews, but it's a wonderful celebration for family to come together. And with Judaism, every celebration has food and libations surrounding it. So it's very festive.
It's festive. There's the menorah. We light 8 candles for those nights. And we can't forget those 8 nights of presents that every Jewish child, of course, looks forward to. So how did that tradition actually come about?
Well, originally, traditionally there weren't presents, and you have the oil and you have the currency that the Jewish people wanted to connect to at the time when they had their liberation. So there's the gelt, the chocolate coins. So children would get a lot of gelt. But then in the early 1900s, Christmas was, very prevalent. And so in order for children to feel connected to the season, that gift-giving idea. So let's face it, if you're a Jewish child and all your friends are getting presents and you're not getting any, let's be realistic. So it's very exciting because you can say, well, you're not just getting 3 presents on one day or 5, you're getting a present every day. And then if you have multiple family members doing it for 8 days, it's like a Mahai, it's a great thing. You just really made out like a, I don't want to say a bandit, but you did a lot of joy. And so they wanted to make that connection to the season and to the joy and make it specific to the 8 actual nights of Hanukkah. So you kindle the light, you give the presents, you eat the latkes, the jelly donuts, you have a meal, brisket, whatever, and you get to celebrate that warmth of family and community and culture and tradition, Lador Vador, from generation to generation. And that's really what it's about, helping to make that connection so that the faith will live on and burn bright, just like the light of the candle.
You said the word community. I know Temple Emet is doing something really special this week for Hanukkah. Tell me about it.
Well, this Friday on Shabbat at 5 p.m., Temple Emet in Torrance, we are having a dinner. And because of COVID, this is the first time we are eating in our synagogue, in our social hall, almost in, a year and a half. And so we're having individual box meals catered and brought in, brisket or salmon with, of course, a latke. And latkes usually have applesauce or sour cream. So you'll have that as well, and a vegetable. And it's very exciting. And then, of course, we will have the jelly donuts, the sufganiyot. So from 5 to 6, there'll be individual boxed meals that we'll be able to have. People have to RSVP. And then we'll have the service from 6 to 7. People will bring a Hanukkah. So some people refer to it as just a menorah because, a menorah is a candelabra, but a Hanukkah is very different. It's got the 8 candles for the 8 nights and another one, an extra one, a shamash, to light the 8 candles with. So people will bring theirs, and there'll be a table and foil out, and we don't want the Torrance Fire Department having to come to the temple. And we'll light our Hanukkah together and celebrate the light, kindle the light of community and connection. And hopefully, it is said in Judaism, when 10 or more come together, and we pray and we celebrate, we are not only elevating ourselves, but the entire world as well. And that is our prayer, that the light that is within each and every one of us can be kindled, especially at this time. Hanukkah comes at a time when it's most dark. So not only, it's a festival of light, but we want to remember that we're bringing light into the darkness. And we've had a very dark period in humanity, and we're still in it. And when you think of the mighty few that, actually prevail over this, gigantic Syrian army, we are a mighty few, even in our faith, but also as a humanity fighting this COVID. So, when we see that when we come together, we are greater together than we are alone. And when all those candles are lit, that magnificent light, you're meant to put it in a window so that people can see that reflection and make that connection so that everyone remembers we have, each of us, a unique and special light. And it's important to keep that light burning bright and glowing and kindle it, nurture it, and then share it with everyone and elevate us all.
That's a beautiful message, especially coming into the new year.
Well, it's not an accident. It comes right around now.
I know. Well, thank you so much, Rabbi Cantor Didi, for coming on the show today. I, of course, wish you and your family a very happy Hanukkah and a safe and healthy New Year coming up.
To you as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Those latkes from your mom.
I'll bring them to you, I promise. Okay, for more information on Temple Emet and their various programs, please visit templeemet.org. The City Council previously approved a 40-unit temporary housing program located on Civic Center grounds just east of the police station. Today, crews began construction of the perimeter fencing. Other projects, such as the installation of gas and electricity and the relocation of containers, have been completed or are ongoing. The city is using 100% of the permanent local housing allocation funds for this temporary housing program, which is estimated to cost $1.55 million annually. City officials say each participant in the temporary housing program has unique situations that may prevent them from obtaining permanent housing. Each individual will have specific plans to suit their needs, with full access to an array of social services, including case management, housing navigation, mental health services, substance abuse counseling, and job training and placement. These services are aimed at helping unhoused individuals to obtain permanent housing, permanent supportive housing, or rapid rehousing. Installation for this temporary housing project is expected to be completed by December 10th. Well, before we go at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The city's annual Turkey Trot was a huge success.
It feels great, yeah. I just finished my cross season, so I'm still in pretty good shape, and I know I just wanted to win it, so I just came out here and just did my best to do that.
This is just a big tradition for a lot of people, and we didn't have that tradition last year, so it's good to have it back.
The enthusiasm for people to get out, be with all of their friends and other runners, this is really a highlight of the end of the year.
More than 3,000 people took part in the 41st annual Harry Sutter Memorial Turkey Trot Fun Run. The City of Torrance Community Services Department organized this event and helped residents and visitors start their Thanksgiving Day on the right foot, literally. The run began at 8 a.m. and afterwards there were drawings for mountain bikes, dinner vouchers, gym memberships, and much more. All registered participants received a commemorative Turkey Trot shirt. Many runners and spectators brought cans of food for a special Thanksgiving food drive. And during the run, the donations were distributed to people in need throughout the South Bay. What a fun and heartwarming event. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event photo, or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We would love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 Today. We will see you back here tomorrow as Rhiannon Trutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.